Hello, you're watching Undercurrent, where you can find out what's been happening around Perth. I'm Lucy Marchant. Don't forget, you could also be watching live on our website or on our West TV app. First, we take you to have a look at the Tutankhamun Exhibition at the WA Museum.
Today, Undercurrent came to visit the exhibition Tutankhamun, his tomb and his treasures. More than 6 million visitors have seen this exhibition so far, and now it's here in Perth. Let's explore a little bit of this unknown world full of magic and mystery. Can you tell me about the logistics of this exhibition?
The exhibition is owned by a German company who worked with the Egyptian government and with the ex-Minister for Antiquities, Dr. Zahi Hawass. The expedition has been running for about 9 years now. So it was first put together 9 years ago, and it travels the world. It's in Perth now. It's the only place in Australia that it will come. It's an exhibition that arrived in some 11 40-foot shipping containers. Took us about 2.5 to 3 weeks to prepare, to set up, and will now run for 4 months and then take another week to get out. And the people that set it up, we had a team of nearly 20 artisans basically who came here to set it up and worked on it and then left, and we'll be back to pull it out. Yeah.
Peter, can you tell me a little bit more about Tutankhamun and why he got so much attention?
I can. Well, Tutankhamun was born about 3,500 years ago. He was an Egyptian pharaoh, and he was the last of his line, of the lineage that he was in. The reason he gets so much attention is really just a quirk of fate. Tutankhamun's tomb is the only one that's been discovered that hasn't been ransacked. So it's the only complete tomb in terms of the material that was left in there with him. And that's why he's attracted so much attention. As a pharaoh, he was a fairly insignificant pharaoh. He was called the Boy King. He ascended to the throne at a very young age, and he was dead by 18. So he actually didn't achieve a great deal in life, but in death, he's told us a lot. The exhibition is very complete and very comprehensive. There's thousands of objects here. The thing that is most interesting about this exhibition is, in the first instance, they present recreations of the tombs with all of the artifacts that were left in Tutankhamun's tomb. So they're all there. But then what we do is we go and repeat it. So everything that is in the tomb is then represented elsewhere in the exhibition, and it's unpicked, if you like. All the pieces are laid out, and explanations and descriptions of each piece is there. So and they're faithfully recreated. Even to the extent they're all made in Egypt. They're manufactured in similar methods that they were originally. And this is the real utility of this exhibition, is it tells the story in a way that the story can't be told in any other way. The pieces that were in the tomb are now spread all around the world. There's no place you can go to see everything that was in Tutankhamun's tomb. So this is an opportunity to see that, and the reaction with it has been great.
I saw that you have an audio guide. Can you explain how it works?
Sure. The exhibition, one of the things that strikes you is that it's silent. There's no noise going on. We have a series of cinemas here, and we have a number of other projectors around, and the audio track that's associated with those various videos synchronises to these audio guides. So as people walk around, and they can listen to all of the pre-recorded material, and a number of the exhibits have also got audio tracks associated with them, so you can listen and have the story explained to you as you go. We have two versions of the audio guide, an adult and a children's version. By children we mean sort of under 12. The differentiator is that the language that is used is a bit easier for children to understand, and it's generally presented in a sort of a gentler way, if you like. It's not that there's an adult version. It's not that at all. It's just that it's designed for children. We've just had a school group through here this morning, and we've got school groups booked right between now and Christmas. Everything from primary school through to the lower levels of high school. Probably the upper highs are not, because they're in the midst of their exams now, so that's a bit hard for them. But yes, it's suitable for everyone, and we're having a real mixed group of people coming here. But I guess to point out, it's not for the hard. Well, it doesn't preclude the hardcore Egyptologists, but where it really has most value is it takes people who know a bit about the story and provides the whole story. and that's really what makes it special.
Maura Magalhães for Undercurrent.
Anti-Poverty Week encourages all Australians to take part in activities to highlight poverty in Australia. Jonathan met with CEO of Vinnie's to talk about their involvement in Poverty Week.
We're at Vinnie's Applecross today to speak to the CEO, Mark Fitzpatrick, about this week's anti-poverty campaign and how plans are going to go in the future for amending WA homelessness, unemployment and poverty.
Poverty Week campaign's been great. It's really trying to raise awareness about the issues of poverty, predominantly in Australia but also around the world. It's not so much about our retail activities here, it's about us being part of a community and making sure that we can give back.
13.9% of Australians live below the poverty line. Which are the most at-risk groups?
Well, the most at-risk groups, unfortunately, are Aboriginal people that tend to be overrepresented in the numbers. We're also seeing 1 in 7 single-parent households in severe poverty, and most of those households are actually led by the mother or the female. So we're seeing a lot of people in stress, a lot of people who are actually finding it very hard to make ends meet and coming to organisations like ours to get help every single day.
Which areas do Vinnie's give back most to?
Oh, look, all of our stores come back in terms of a central pot, and we use all the money that we raise through our stores to deliver services in the community. So the most of what we do is actually try and prevent homelessness by putting food on the table, paying bills, helping with rents and that sort of stuff. And last year alone we helped 48,000 people in Western Australia just by that one activity. So our stores actually provide us some of the vehicle to do that, as well as provide people with, we hand out a lot of free clothes if people are in need. Our stores and that network actually provide us the vehicle to do all that sort of stuff.
I guess there are kind of other op shops out there, so there needs to be a balance between the humanitarian mission and what is ultimately competition. How do Vinnie's handle that?
Well, we're the largest charity retailer in WA and indeed across Australia. The way that we run our stores is very simple. We actually want to be part of a community. So our store in Applecross will be different than our store in Armidale and our store in South Hedland or Albany for that matter. And it's about being part of what that community needs. We try with our stores to have an environment where it's welcoming, it's a normalised shopping experience. Because you might not be able to afford something doesn't mean you should feel worse by actually coming into a charity retailer. And so we have different things in our different stores. So we have some stuff that, you know, Jag jeans or Levi Strauss or something like that, or we have things that are at a very, very low price point so everyone can afford. They might come and find that hidden gem from time to time. We'll have jackets coming into winter so people can keep warm. So we're trying to be really practical, but it reflects that need of that community. So Hedland will have a whole different series of clothing to meet that community compared to Albany, and that's fine. We're comfortable with that. We have about 30 stores in the metropolitan area that's actually serviced by our depot operations. They sort about 700 tonnes worth of clothes, so we collect all of those sorts of donations, we sort through them, we put them in our stores.
Which other sponsors are Vinnie's involved with this week's campaign?
Well, it's not so much a sponsorship. I mean, there's a lot of other organisations involved in Anti-Poverty Week, so we've got places like St Bart's, Rise, the WA Council of Social Services are doing things, we've got Anglicare and a whole range of different organisations. We've got the City of Albany, for example, doing different things. And this year we're actually also getting a number of different cafes involved.
In your experience and capacity, what do you think is the best way forward?
Oh, I wish I had a magic wand and be able to solve it, but it's one of those things that I think that often there's a intergenerational part of that, and we need to stop that cycle. If we can actually create a better tomorrow for the kids of the families that we see today, then we're starting to win, if you like, in terms of trying to change that trajectory for people. A lot of it's around education. Stability in housing is a critical part, and in this state alone we've got 20,000 people waiting for government housing. Mental illness and being able to get early supports for that, and there's obviously around employment, and we just saw today that WA's unemployment rate's continuing to rise.
What's next for Vinnie's?
Obviously the demand's increasing. We're looking at expanding our stores. We're trying to create new opportunities for people that we help to actually get employment through. We're connecting with other organisations to design how our services bolt onto theirs so we together make a better difference. And we're also having a look at different funding opportunities to replicate our services, to provide more through investors being able to invest and get a social return as opposed to a normal investment return. So we're trying to have a look at different ways to do different things and continue to increase, but also I think play an important part of the whole sector. So we're not trying to do everything ourselves. We're trying to connect up with people and organisations who do good work themselves, and together we can make a better difference than just Vinnie's doing it alone.
All right, we'll be keeping an eye out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'm Jonathan Davidson for Undercurrent.
Up next, Bass asks the public what they think about hidden speed cameras on WA roads.
WA drivers have paid a record amount in traffic fines, with more than $100 million flowing into state government coffers.
We have more cameras out there and we are building the camera network because they are effective.
We have a covert policy and we have an overt policy, and we're not going to change that.
Hidden speed cameras, are they there for public protection or revenue raising? There's been so many questions asked about this, but what's being done? Death tolls are mainly contributed to driver fatigue, the lack of driver experience and driver intoxication, whether it be drugs or alcohol. So how is it justified that we have these hidden speed cameras strategically placed in certain spots for revenue raising? We're going to hit the streets of Perth to find out.
They sneakily hide on certain roads where they know people, especially school zones and things like that, they pry on. They definitely are there for the revenue. They're not there for the safety, it's for the revenue.
I think more for revenue raising, yeah.
I believe it's revenue raising in the majority.
The locations are put in spots that perhaps aren't always accident areas. They're more areas where people are likely to go maybe 10 or 15 kilometres over the limit and not really be that much of a safety issue.
I've even seen them out with road repair cones around them, so they look like tradesmen, setting up telecom servicemen, that sort of thing, which I don't think's on.
I think the hidden cameras are fine. Dual purpose, raising money for the government and protecting people on the roads.
I think they're there to protect the public, but I also think in some terms they are looking to revenue raise. It's not necessarily a bad thing because they obviously need the money and they have targets to meet.
It is a lot of revenue raising. Some of them are trying to be sneaky still, and I don't think that's right. The whole idea is just to make people put the presence there that they want people to slow down. They want us to, be constantly looking at our speedo or putting it on cruise control and being safe for all the pedestrians and everyone else on the roads.
Well, I think with sophistication in the cars these days, lowering the speed limit's really not the answer. I think it's more a case of driver awareness and training.
A lot of accidents are contributed to fatigue, so I think that's an area that needs to be worked on.
There's a lot of people on the roads that are taking the law for a bit of fun, if I may say, and they're the ones that they need to be focusing on, not the fines. They're sending people that may have gone five kilometres over the limit, getting charged through the roof, when they're really a very well-controlled driver and very responsible.
I prefer to see more patrol cars out and picking up drivers that are doing bad habits, not indicating that sort of thing.
Even the signs that, the roadwork signs at the time where it says, slow down roadworks, if, you get it can monitor your speed and get an alarm, you're just going over the limit, in those areas they're really trying to focus on, it reminds people to just slow down a little bit.
I don't think it has to get to the point where they're just trying to be sneaky and trying to catch you out wherever possible. The fixed cameras are a great idea. It's just that constant thought in your memory, wherever you're driving, what speed am I doing? Am I in the limit?
Yeah, I'd prefer to see the fixed cameras as they have in the eastern states, where they have them across the road and they can time point to point, so you don't speed down for the cameras and then double your speed after you go through it. I think that's more effective and it's constant.
Bas Tadros for Undercurrent.
Don't forget you can watch West TV online and on our mobile app. Now stay with us, we'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back to Undercurrent. Every year, Curtin University celebrates its cultural diversity by holding a multicultural week, each weekday dedicated to a continent. Laura went on a Thursday to check out Africa Day.
Drums, statues and everyday. Welcome to the Africa Day organized by Curtin University students. As you can see, there are a lot of students here and there are so many things to discover, like African food. So Australian students are discovering another culture.
I believe Curtin University is the most multicultural university in Western Australia because we have about 15,000 international students, and that it's based on the statistic that the Curtin University published in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. and most of those international students came from China, Indonesia, Malaysia, and India, and many more nationalities such as USA, Canada, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq as well, Korea, Japan, and many more. I don't remember all of the nationality from the top of my head.
And why it is important to promote culture and diversity?
It's very important because to promote the multiculturalism on campus, because it shows that the university support the diversity, and also to show harmony. And from the perspective of international student community, it's important because we create an opportunity and platform for international students and domestic students to mingle together, because sometimes for international students it's kind of terrifying to step out of their comfort zone. So by doing Multicultural Week, we can hopefully bridge that gap between international and domestic students to help them just step out of their comfort zone and experience the whole culture of university life.
I've been to all the events so far this week, and this one by far is the best. Multicultural Week is by far one of the biggest events at Curtin, so it's always a good one to be at. University, there's so much like diverse people here and like a range of like cultures, so it's important to know what kind of cultures are going on here, and it's always good to be a part of it. I'm friends with like quite a lot of different people from like Asia and Brazil, and yeah, it's like really fun to just keep up the culture, learn different languages, taste different food, and yeah, I'll keep it up for the rest of my life, I think, so yeah.
I'm not part of the committee, but my friend is, and she asked if I'd like to do anything today, and I did say I'd love to come and help however I can by hair braiding.
And is it important for you to share your culture?
I think it is very important to, you know, embrace who we are and what life is like back home, and doing this kind of reminds me of what life is back home, so yeah. I think it's important to embrace your culture and your background.
Where do you come from?
I come from Kenya. I'm from Ghana. That's in West Africa. East Africa. Yeah, there's more East Africans here than West Africans because we're far away, far away.
It looks like a big day for you.
Definitely is Africa Day. It is a big day because it's the time where we express our culture and we get to like, you know. And it's been fun. Australia is a pretty much cultural country, so it's like so many different cultures. It makes it great.
If you see around campus throughout the Multicultural Week, it was actually organized mostly by students, what we call day managers, and all those managers are actually students at Curtin University. In total, all students that involved throughout the whole event would be 100 students.
This is Laura Bayoumi for Undercurrent.
The mission of Borderless Gandhi is to promote peace, non-violence and equality, a message shared in a beautiful exhibition you can go see in Perth. This month at the Bell Tower you can go check out an exhibition put together by Borderless Gandhi, and I'm about to meet with two of the founders of the initiative to find out more. So you founded the Borderless Gandhi initiative. What made you take your life in this direction?
It was all out of a wish to contribute to not only the local community, but hopefully it will reach a wider community, a global community as well, in order to share the message of Mahatma Gandhi, which revolves around equality, non-violence, peace, unity and humanity.
This exhibition behind us at the Bell Tower, can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes, the exhibition is called Mahatma and Me, and it's by the Delhi-based Indian artist Vibhor Sagani. This exhibition in particular was chosen chosen by us, Borderless Gandhi, to be a part of the Borderless Gandhi project because it conveyed the message that we wanted to convey. It was around Mahatma Gandhi and his values of peace, equality and non-violence. It is called Mahatma and Me because each of the artworks are made of stainless steel, which is a reflective material. So you will mirror yourself into the artwork in a very physical way, but also it aspires to inspire locating the Mahatma in you.
Do you know how much work it took to create these pieces? How long it took the artist?
That I'm not so sure about, but the exhibition itself was actually commissioned by the Indian government a few years ago, all to celebrate Gandhi's homecoming, 100th anniversary of his homecoming from South India to India in 1915. So in 2015 there was a huge celebration around that in India. And in January 2015, that's where we met the artist as well, when we visited Gandhinagar, where the exhibition was up. And that was the inaugural exhibition for this particular exhibits behind us. And that's where the discussion started with the artists that, we would like to include you into our project.
What is it about Gandhi that inspires you the most, that influences your life?
Well, what we learned ourselves through this project was persistence. Mahatma Gandhi was very persistent in the way he worked towards, getting the freedom of India from the British Empire and the things that he accomplished. He was very persistent about it, and we had to kind of be the same in order to achieve what we wanted to achieve. There was a couple of snags we hit along the way, which caused, us almost to give up, but then we kept trudging along, and then finally we have the results with us today.
You've got some other events organised for Perth. Can you tell us about them?
Yes, the 29th will be a huge day down here. We have received a little bit of support from the Western Australian Museum, and they will be down here in the afternoon on the 29th with a photo booth, and they will take people portraits, and they will ask people small questions which relates to multiculturalism, and they will include those photographs into the WA Faces program, which has been running for the last couple of years, and which will be, I think they're planning to do something big with it when the new museum's opened up in 2020. And on the same day we also have the local but yet global and social performance artist Peter Sharp, and his initiative will be here and conducting the eye contact experiment in the afternoon as well.
And are you hoping to carry this into the next year, into the following years?
Well, Borderless Gandhi for us is a lifelong project, so this is the first exhibition that we're holding. We still want to utilize art as a medium to promote Mahatma Gandhi's philosophies and values and morals, but we might look into doing other art forms such as stage play or music or anything like that.
So Nilesh, this is a silent march. Can you tell us about this piece?
Yeah, the silent march is one of my favorite pieces. As it says, if no one responds to your call, then you go your way alone. And Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy was that if you believe in something and it's truth and you are passionate about something, so when there is a calling comes, you can keep marching ahead, and as long as you stay true to your path, people will join you and follow you. But don't give up, and don't be afraid of walking alone if you believe in something. And that's the message around this art, a silent march.
Lucy Marchant for Undercurrent. You may be aware of the creepy clown trend going on at the moment. How is this affecting the local clown industry? James finds out more.
As Halloween approaches, there have been increasingly large numbers of reports of terrifying people wearing clown makeup and brandishing weapons, terrorising local communities at night. But for some, these are not just harmless pranks. Many see these as actually genuinely threatening gestures, and for professional clowns like Perth's own Connie the Clown, they may actually represent a threat to their profession. So, to get her perspective, I invited Connie herself to our offices to discuss her perspective. What got you into the clowning profession in the first place?
I started years ago when first I was doing stand-up comedy, and I got asked to do a couple of charity gigs to help people out, and I just kept getting more work and ended up being a clown, not a comedian. I dispute that a lot of people are afraid of clowns, but there is a percentage of people that are afraid of clowns. But then we did have Stephen King, and I actually liked that. We had that It, and we had the Killer Clown. I've forgotten the writer of that one, which I think they're using their image at the moment. And now with these pranks, it's probably not going to help people with clown phobias. And I think a lot of the children that have got clown phobias, it's because of the circus clown that probably went too far and didn't know to leave the frightened child alone, sort of thing.
Why do you think so many people are partaking in this prank of creepy clowns?
I think there's probably different groups of people doing them. So you might have the kids that just do it as a prank because they're just kids in a group. But then you'll also have the deranged person that's not mentally stable, which is a bit of a worry. They're the ones that are, the kids dressing up and just having a joke, they're fine, but the ones that are actually mentally deranged who potentially could be actually evil and want to harm people, they're the ones we need to be worried about. It could make people more clown phobic, so then they probably wouldn't have a clown at the party, or prevent places from actually hiring clowns because obviously they, because of the clown phobia that's out there. But it depends on how bad it gets, and it might just blow over and not much will happen at all.
Do you think the scary clowns are actually getting to the point where they're dangerous?
I think if there was something, someone with a machete or something, was that right? If I'm correct about that reading. If they're taking weapons out there, you've got to be questioning what sort of person would actually do that. And when they're doing pranks that could actually harm themselves or just go wrong. But the fact that they're taking weapons and the intent is to make people afraid, that's quite deranged. That's, that's criminal intent. So those ones should definitely be charged. I think they're just happening randomly, so you could just be in the place that one of them happens, in which case I would just try to go away and ignore it, because you're feeding these people obviously big egos, and they're trying to get, they're enjoying the media that they're getting out of this. So I would keep away from them and not give them the attention they're after.
What kind of work do you do as a clown?
We do light magic shows, we do comedy shows, we do puppets, we do face painting, balloon animals, games, tattoos, hang out with them, stir people up, do walk-arounds. They're the main things we do.
And in light of all the scary things that are happening, do you still think the world loves a clown?
It's got to, come on. It'd be sad without the clown, and the clown still rules the circus, come on.
So in conclusion, hopefully no more clowning around, at least in the scary sense. I'm James Burnside, and you're watching Undercurrent.
Thank you for watching Undercurrent. Don't forget you can watch us online or on our West TV app. Take care, and we'll see you next week.